Hey folks, welcome to Marshland. I'm your host, Jeremy Marshall. What is up? It is good to be back, folks. It is nice to see your smiling faces on the other end of the digital realm. It's exciting. This is actually take 2 of this actual podcast. I tried to record one the other night, but finals got to me and I almost fell asleep. So, not gonna run with that one. Don't want to bore you guys to tears. So here is the number 2 redux. It is Marshland episode 2 Reloaded. Attack of the Clones, The Dark Knight returns. It's gonna be pretty cool. Now, before we get into anything else, to the geek news. Beep, 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 beep. Fresh off the presses last night, kids. Groundbreaking news in the DC cinematic universe. This shit is real, son. This is seismic. It is glorious, and it's gonna be awesome. Suicide Squad cast was announced officially last night, which is pretty incredible. Now, I understand that 92.67321 of y'all don't know who the Suicide Squad is. Why would you? You know Batman, you know Superman. Most of you probably don't even know the difference between DC and Marvel. It's okay. I sympathize. I understand. I am here for you as your loving and caring and knowledgeable host. The Suicide Squad is probably one of the more interesting comic book movies that is going to come out in the next few years, and it's also one of the more interesting comic book properties that has really ever been created. Think of it as the anti-Guardians of the Galaxy. Everybody loves Guardians of the Galaxy, it's a bunch of ragtag misfit heroes that come together to save the universe. This is kind of the opposite. This one's about a ragtag group of villains, you heard me right, villains who have to come together to perform missions for the U.S. government that even black ops, like the best of the best military, won't go into. They have to go into the shit, people, the worst of the worst type of situation, and usually they don't all come out alive. Hence the name, the Suicide Squad. This is a brilliant concept that's been around in the DCU for a very, very long time, and has kind of had this reemergence of popularity over the last few years when DC revamped their comics continuity with the New 52. The new lineup is like Deadshot and Deathstroke and Harley Quinn, the Joker's daughter, Black Manta. It's really actually a fun comic that I read every once in a while. Then I have the continuity of like a Batman or something that I really keep up with, but it's a fun book. Just to see these really reprehensible human beings actually kind of fighting for the good side, it's really, really cool. Now, we are getting that in a film. DC announced that they were going to just revamp their cinematic universe a la Marvel. They finally got around to it, and now they're just going to just blow our minds with just dropping the hammer on every freaking property we could ever want from DC. You got Batman v Superman, you got Suicide Squad, you got Green Lantern, you got Flash, you got Cyborg, you got Shazam, you get the mother flippin' Justice League, and Wonder Woman. It's gonna be off the chains amazing if they don't screw it up. But we don't know yet because we haven't seen Batman v Superman. Batman v Superman could tank. It could be the worst thing since Batman and Robin, God forbid, and tank everything. But here's hoping it doesn't, because this is a fascinating thing. It's the battle of the cinematic universes. DC and Marvel duking it out once again, but not in the pages of comic books. They are doing it on the big screen. And the only people who nobody loses. This is a win-win for everybody. It's kind of like when Disney and Universal Studios start duking it out to use the best theme park rides. Everybody wins because we're going to have a great time. It's a great time to be a nerd. The geek shall inherit the earth. This is amazing. I love it. Now, back to casting. The Suicide Squad cast has been rumored for a while now, and there were some big names being thrown out there that were kind of unbelievable. You had Will Smith, Tom Hardy, Jared Leto was the Joker for a while. Even Ryan Gosling was the Joker for a while. You had Margot Robbie who was going to play Harley Quinn, apparently. There was a lot of names being thrown around for this kind of ragtag misfit group of heroes that did not have the name recognition of like a Wonder Woman or a Batman. So we were looking forward to Suicide Squad kind of as a pseudo-Guardians, but not really like in the way of like, oh my god, it's gonna be awesome! We just thought it'd be cool. Although we were, I think, wondering as a and I say we as a collective nerd community, wondering why DC would slate this film immediately after Batman v Superman Dawn of Justice, which will be their universe expanding movie, why would you go immediately to the anti-hero character villains that we have never seen before? It was kind of a weird idea. But we, kind of had faith, and I'm like, all right, guys, whatever you guys are going to give us, you're going to give us. What you got? Just drop it, DC. What do you have on the plate for us? Who are you going to bring to the table here? Oh, they brought the creme de la creme, people. Everybody who was rumored is in the mother flipping cast. It's insane. This is unprecedented. This doesn't happen. Casting news in like the comic book world is just rumor after rumor after rumor, and you never really know exactly who's gonna be it. When Batman was being cast, there was like 20 different names that were thrown out. John Hamm was thrown out there. Josh Brolin was there for a while. Jake Gyllenhaal. There were so many names being thrown out that you couldn't really believe any of them until Batfleck was like, boom, bitch, I got this. So to have all the rumored cast members be in the movie is incredible. And what a cast we have, my lord. This is amazing. You got arguably one of the biggest movie stars in the world. Will Smith is going to be in a comic book movie as a villain. He is playing Deadshot, who is a master assassin, kind of a smart-ass type character who is perfect for Will Smith's sensibilities. This is like Independence Day, Men in Black, Agent J, Will Smith, but as a bad guy. Are you kidding me? This is going to be insanely amazing. I can't wait. Then going down the list, you got Margot Robbie playing Harley friggin' Quinn. The first time we are going to get Harley Quinn in an actual film. This is incredible. Everybody loves Harley Quinn. She's the Joker's girlfriend. She was kind of brainwashed by the Joker into loving him and has had this love-hate type of on-again, off-again relationship with him over the last 15 years. She was actually created for the Batman animated series in the 90s. She was not even in comics continuity until the fan response was so like, oh, we love this girl. She's the perfect foil for the Joker. And then they're like, all right, let's put her in continuity. And it's just been history ever since. She is a beloved character. And you got Margot Robbie playing her, which, oh, God in heaven. If you have seen The Wolf of Wall Street, you know how drop dead, tongue rolling on the floor, eyes bulging out of your head, gorgeous Margot Robbie is. She was the lady who played DiCaprio's wife in that film. Oh my God. I had a crush on that woman from the trailer, but I never thought of her as Harley Quinn. But now you look at her as a blonde, just the way her face is and how she is a great actress, she's gonna kill it. We are going to get a great version of this kind of playful but dark character. I can't wait. Think of the Joker with a little morality and pigtails. And you got Harley Quinn. It's a great character. It's a great female character for the DC cinematic universe. Especially you're dropping Wonder Woman, then you're dropping Harley Quinn. I love it. That's going to be incredible. But here's the thing, folks. Harley Quinn is great on her own. But she is always better with a little Joker action. And it was also announced that in the Suicide Squad, we are getting a brand new Joker! Woo, woo, woo! Yes, this is incredible. This is amazing. Are you kidding me? Now, to be fair, when it was announced that we were getting some new Joker action, it was rumored for a while, everybody was sort of like, hold up. We just had, it was like 7-8 years ago, we had arguably, I don't think it's an arguable point, the greatest, if not one of the greatest, villain/regular performances in history when Heath Ledger killed it as the Joker, man. We had never gotten anything that just psychotic and crazy, but layered and textured in this way. It was mind-melding. Nobody could say anything bad about the film because it was just like, look at that performance. He killed it on every level. It just gave this quintessential amazing performance. And the fact that it's really the role that he's remembered for is kind of, I mean, it obviously sucks that he died the way he did, but what a way to go out, man, given just like a tour de force performance that will last the generations. Like it's far surpasses Nicholson's Joker, and it's a quintessential comic book villain/villain performance. Nothing could beat it. And after it was announced that the Joker was coming back, we're like, wait, okay, who are we getting for this? All right, we all love Joker. Joker is like the best villain in literature from the past 100 years. So how are you going to deal with this guy? Who are you going to get? How do you top Heath Ledger? Well, you know how you top Heath Ledger? You go and get a guy who is basically a pseudo-Ledger when it comes to his acting pedigree. You go out and get Oscar-winning actor Jared friggin' Leto. You get the guy who won the Oscar last year for Dallas Buyers Club and say, all right, son, you come in, give us your Joker, dude. We are in. We want to see what this actor's actor can bring to the table. There was a time when people weren't really like that, though, mentally, when it comes to comic book movies. When Chris Nolan actually cast Heath Ledger, people were like, bullshit, Nolan. Really? Are you insane? Why are you going after this guy from The Knight's Tale and Brokeback Mountain to play the Joker? That guy's in the same class as Nicholson? Are you insane, Nolan? You've lost your mind. We liked Batman Begins, but we really think that you, need to loosen that tie of yours, man. You went crazy while you were making The Prestige. What are you doing right now? And we were all left with eggs in our faces because Heath Ledger just dropped performance science on our asses, and we were all the idiots who got to enjoy it for the rest of time. So I am very excited about this casting, man. Jared Leto's an actor's actor, man. He's the kind of guy who disappears into a role in a big bad way, just like he did in Dallas Buyers Club, and very similar to how Ledger disappeared into his roles during his life. So I've got great hopes for this. Now, I don't think that Joker will be part of the Suicide Squad. I think he will probably be the person the Suicide Squad is trying to stop. Because the Joker has never really been a part of the Suicide Squad, and he doesn't really play well with others. So I really don't see him being a team member in this whole situation. Also, ballsy choice by DC. Very ballsy choice to introduce pretty much the villain of DC. He's the villain. Lex Luthor's big, but the Joker even tops him. He's the quintessential villain of the DC universe, and you're going to introduce him in a non-Batman film? Ballsy. Very, very ballsy. Now, we're assuming Batman won't be in Suicide Squad. We don't know at this juncture, so we can only go off what we know, and you got Batman v Superman, and then you're going into Suicide Squad. So whether Batfleck's going to put on the cowl in that movie as well for a cameo or something, we really have no idea, but I cannot wait to find out. Rounding out the cast, you got Tom Hardy, Bane himself, playing the leader of the Suicide Squad, Rick Flag. I don't know much about this character. Sounds like he's going to be kind of the Rock of the group, the guy who's trying to rein in the madness around him by all these other crazy characters. And great casting. Tom Hardy can play crazy. Tom Hardy can play just rock solid and just charismatic as hell. He's a very versatile actor, man. He can do whatever in the hell he wants. Tom Hardy was in one of my favorite movies this year, literally talking on a phone in his car by himself. The entire movie is him riding in his car talking on cell phones. Check it out. It's called Locke. L-O-C-K-E. It is my top 5 movies of this past year. It is a beautifully shot, beautifully scripted, just insane film that more people should see because it shows that Tom Hardy is one of the best actors we have right now. So that's Suicide Squad cast, people. I hope you're excited as I am because this is kind of incredible. It's the anti-Guardians, man, and I guarantee you, I keep saying that, but I guarantee you the only reason we have this good of a cast is because Guardians broke the earth. If Guardians had come out and been like a meh, been okay, kind of made money back, it was kind of like a Thor for Marvel, I highly, highly doubt we would have gotten Will Motherflippin' Smith, Agent J. Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air Smith, to be a second-tier Batman villain in a movie that didn't even have Batman in it. You never would have guessed that. Nobody would have said that. Nobody would have thought Jared Leto would have been rocking the Joker, or you would have gotten Tom Hardy back in the DC universe after his turn as Bane. But we did, because you know what? Guardians was insanely awesome. And I have faith that Suicide Squad will be as good, but a different tone, of course, but it will be pretty damn good. You got a guy named David Ayer directing. David Ayer did the recent World War II World War II drama Fury, which is a kick-ass film, man. Got Brad Pitt in it. It's got Michael Pena in it. It's got Shane from Walking Dead in it. A kick out. And Shia LaBeouf actually acting his ass off. He's very good in this movie. One of the best World War II dramas I've seen in a very long time, probably since Bastards, but before that, probably to Saving Private Ryan. Very grounded, gritty, dark, and interesting movie about people who you're rooting for, but you don't like. Like, these are American tank operators who are reprehensible human beings, but they're fighting for the good side. So how do you feel about that? It's a really kind of a moral tale. And I think that's what David Ayer's going to bring to this movie. I think he's going to bring the sensibility of, you're going to root for these guys. You may not like them. You may know they are reprehensible human beings, but you are going to root for these guys, and you're going to really be upset if one of them kicks the bucket. Because I guarantee you, you are not having a Suicide Squad movie without somebody dying. Now, probably going to be possibly the Tom Hardy character, probably one of the other two Suicide Squad members, which have cast members that you probably don't know, so it doesn't really matter. Probably going to be one of those two, I would imagine. Somebody's got to die. It's a Suicide Squad movie. So I am very psyched for this. It's very exciting news. Not as exciting as Star Wars trailer, but to have it confirmed that this caliber of actor will be in this film is a very, very, very cool progression of the DC universe, and is a very cool development going forward. And it just goes to proof that nerddom is taking over planet Earth, man. We live in a wealth of riches. We live in a beautiful time when we get Oscar winners, and Will Smith, I don't think he won an Oscar, but he was nominated probably, in a movie about second-tier Batman villains, and the Joker, of course. But I'm very excited for that. I think you should be as well. Now, on to the second point of contention, not of contention. The second point on the roster. I kind of see this podcast as, I guess, a vocal blog, kind of, sort of, maybe. It's one of these things where it's like, I have a lot of pent-up thoughts and emotions and feelings and bullshit, just like everybody else, but I really feel like expressing that sometimes, and I don't always get that opportunity. And I feel like this is kind of a medium where I can kind of do that to an extent, especially when it's something that I feel can be shared and is not too personal. Here's kind of where my head's at right now, and this is why I'm going to explain this. I am a film guy. I guess I'm not a film major, because having a film degree doesn't mean jack shit in a hill of beans in the film industry. The film industry is very interesting, because the film industry is really kind of if you get in, you can get in, but you better find a way to get your ass in. You got to get your foot in the door somehow, you know what I mean? They don't just kind of like hand out jobs. Like, you can't really apply for a job unless you have experience outside of the workforce, you know what I mean? Like, you have to kind of do what other people are not willing to do to get the attention of people, because a lot of people want to be in the film industry. Most of them don't make it. It's kind of like professional baseball, which I have kind of an experience with, because I wanted to be a pro baseball player for large portion of my life. You know, going into it, that there's a huge proportion of failure. So that means you got to up your game and do shit that other people aren't willing to do to get to that point where you can be the one calling the shots. You can be the one who is being creative on this grand scale. And that's kind of been my approach when it comes to trying to break into this industry. Right now, I have an internship with a television show called Haunted, which is a paranormal investigation show that's based out of Baton Rouge. It is a very cool show, and I've been working on it for about 7 to 8 months now. I've been editing. I'm editing. I'm a camera operator on the show. I'm kind of a cast member on the show. It's a very cool feeling to be a part of something that I kind of worked my way up, and I started out just logging footage into the computer, and then I was given editing responsibilities, which is a very fascinating, cool, interesting thing that I never would have guessed I'd been able to, but I've learned so much in the past 7 months. Here's the problem, though. I haven't been paid jack squat. I went into this as an unpaid internship, and with a few small exceptions here and there, I haven't been paid a dime over the last 8 months. I've been working basically a full-time job for no money. Now, I understand in the back of your head if you are thinking, what an idiot! What are you doing, you moron? You are working that much for no money? Are you insane? What is this, charity work? And I understand those opinions. I have them in the back of my head too. I'm not that crazy. But I am of the opinion, and this comes from my experience playing sports, that to make an impression, you have to be willing to do what other people aren't. And I've heard a lot of people that I've done research on who have gotten into the industry by being willing to work for free and to do bitch work and to do what they have to do to climb up the rung and the ladder. So I see this as a means to an end. Besides the fact that I'm having a great time doing it, I see this right now as a means to an end of learning, getting better, getting some experience, making some contacts, and then having that on a resume of like, this is what I can do. I worked on this show for like 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, however long I ended up working for the show, and I can do the job more so than somebody else coming out of film school who has no practical experience and was just doing assignments. So that's kind of my mentality when it comes to this job. But I don't want to stay there. I have this really kind of deep-seated fear of all this being for naught. You know what I mean? And I feel like this is kind of a common fear, I would imagine. But it's more of like, I've gone through all this trouble. I've spent hours upon hours and days and days and days and just an incalculable amount of time throughout my life kind of training to do this job. Like I've been watching movies my whole life, I've been studying films my whole life, I've been reading, I've been writing, I've been doing all this stuff, getting ready for this like possible life as a filmmaker or a writer, most basically a filmmaker. But nobody's gonna, and it kind of dawned on me today, nobody's gonna hand me a job to make a movie. You know what I mean? Nobody's gonna say, here you go, kid. Here's $10 million to go make a movie. You have fun. Tell us how it works out. That's not gonna happen, although I wish it would. It's just not. It's not gonna happen for any of us in film school, any of us trying to break into the industry. Nobody's gonna hand us the key and say, go have a good time with all our money. They're not gonna do it. Because you know what? You're an unproven just film school kid. You've done nothing of value. Not of value, but you've done nothing that proves you can do something this big. It's not like a job at a bank or a job at anywhere else, really. I mean, even as a doctor, like, you have to do stuff on your own to make an impact. You have to be ballsy and go for something on your own. And it kind of dawned on me today that that's kind of what I need to do. There's this, I'm a writer, and I've been writing a lot of different things over the last couple years since I started thinking, I want to be a filmmaker. And I've written a few scripts, few full-length scripts. One of them that I was working on a lot this summer that I pretty much got the first act done on is a script called Suicide for Dummies. I basically thought of that title a long time ago. It made me giggle, and I decided to try and write a story around that. So I did. And it's a story about this guy who breaks up with his girl and tries to kill himself, but inadvertently becomes like this internet sensation, and all kind of the trials and his schemes to try and win this girl back. But it's not played straight. It's played very kind of loosey-goosey, very theatrical, very over the top kind of thing. He has a running narration, which is really just his conscience in the back of his head. He interacts with his conscience. The conscience shows up on screen sometimes and explains things about the plot. It's this kind of wacky story. And I was working on this all summer, and then I got into classes, and I kind of forgot about it. I kind of tucked it away in my computer, and I didn't really worry about it. Well, I kind of looked at it today. I couldn't pull up internet on my computer because my computer's a piece of crap, and hopefully I'm getting a new one very soon. And I just pulled up the PDF on it, and I was like, all right, I'm bored. I might as well just read this 30 pages of script. And I was like, this is pretty freaking good. Not to blow my own horn or nothing, but like, it was a fun read. And I was like, this is kind of fun. Like, this is a cool little story, and I like where this is going. I like the characters. It's funny in the right places. It's light enough, but it's got this weird dark humor to it. I like this story. And I kind of decided in that moment, you know what? I want to make this movie. I want to legitimately make this film, because it's written small enough to where I could probably, theoretically scrounge the money together to possibly get this made. So I've kind of decided that that's my mission. By July of this year, I want to be shooting Suicide for Dummies. For realsies. I'm not even bullshitting. I'm not kidding. This is not something where I'm like, I hope it happens. I'm going to do this. And the fact that I'm telling you I'm going to do this terrifies me. It is weird how scared I was when I was thinking about talking about this on the pod. It's fascinating to me. Like, I was legitimately nervous. I was like, oh my God, I shouldn't say this to people. And I know why. I know exactly why I was scared. I was scared because if I tell you what I'm doing, that I have this big plan, this big thing that I've never done before, I'm accountable. I have people who know that I want to do this. It's not just in my head anymore. Which is scary, because then more people know, and if more people know, that means that they may ask about it, and if I don't do it, then But that's also a good thing, because I am accountable now. I will make this movie. This will be my movie. Because you know what? It's a movie nobody else is going to make. It is a story that I care about. It is a story that I don't relate to. I was going to say relate to. I never felt like killing myself. That wasn't ever a thing. But I understand like the emotions of breaking up with somebody. And that's kind of the catalyst for the story. And getting over heartbreak and understanding that life keeps going on. And I feel like this very universal story that everybody kind of feels. And I really want to tell this story in this specific way, with the big, flamboyant theatricality of it all. I really want this to be my film because I know nobody else on this earth will make this movie. So you know what? I'm making this movie. I'm telling you right now, on December 2nd, 2014, by July of 2015, I will have started shooting Suicide for Dummies. It will be my film, and I will take ownership of it, and I will love it and care for it and nurture it into life, and it will be my film. And I cannot wait to do it because it sounds so much fun, but it sounds terrifying at the same time. I cannot wait. It's going to be incredible. In the meantime, though, I'm going to make a few other things. I'm also holding myself accountable to this. For one of my classes this year, I wrote a pilot for a web series. You know, it's basically a television series online. Y'all kids out there know what I'm talking about. The old folks out there, it's like TV, but it's on the internets. Basically, it's called Kaplan's Log, and it's basically about a Captain Kirk cosplayer at a Comic-Con who accidentally swallows his wife's engagement ring and must go to the bathroom and shit it out of himself before the William Shatner panel where he plans on proposing to her. That's the plot. And the series is set up to where he's going through all the motions of trying to get this ring out of his system while also journalizing in Kaplan's Log, which is it's a Star Trek joke. Just keep with me here. And he has to deal with all the various con attendees that come into and out of the bathroom and help him some and hurt him some. And it's just his experiences going through this kind of weird comedy of errors. The great thing about this pilot is that it is stupid shootable. It's basically just a bathroom and a few things outside. So I'm going to make it. I will make this pilot, and if it comes out really, really good, which I hope it will, and I'm gonna write episode 2, and I'm gonna make at least 5 episodes of this and put it out as a web series. I'm gonna do this, so I'm saying that as well. I will make Kaplan's Log a thing. I will make Suicide for Dummies. These are in stone. This is gonna happen, man. And I want anybody listening to this, I want every single one of you to hold me accountable to this. Unless there's some act of God or for some reason, by everything I do, I can't raise enough money to do what I have to do, then fine, we'll push it back. But you know what? I'm gonna work my ass off to make sure this works because I'm saying it on the internet, and everything on the internet is 100% true, goddammit. I'm going to make sure this happens. I'm excited. I am nervous as hell. I am scared right now, but it is a cool feeling to have. And I'm very, very excited for what's going to come next. And I really hope you guys can be there with me while I'm doing this because I want to share it with everybody because this feeling of creating something and having your words be out there and believing in your work is really a cool feeling to have. And I really want to share it with all of you. So that's where I'm at. It's kind of a suicide-y episode with the Suicide Squad and Suicide for Dummies. Tied that in right there. That is a good host right there, people. I can tie everything back together. It's a full circle. It's like Rust Cole from True Detective. Time is a flat circle. Goes around, comes around. Kind of situation. That's my McConaughey, people. That is the kind of shit you get through the pod for. To get my brilliant impression of McConaughey. So thank you for listening all the way to the McConaughey impression. I can't tell you how much I care, and it means to me that you guys would listen this long into the show. So until next time, I'm Jeremy Marshall. Thanks for visiting the Marshland. See ya!